Welcome to Walking the Old Path. I'm Dennis Gruening. In John 18:38, we read where Pontius Pilate, speaking to Jesus, asks a simple question: what is truth? Bible scholars down through the centuries have attempted to understand why Pilate asked such a question. But perhaps the best way of looking at this is in the local context. Pilate was well aware of the reasons why the Jewish leaders were so adamant regarding their desire to have Jesus put to death. Perhaps he was just saying that the truth in this case was not being served. In fact, the very next words out of his mouth were his declaration, "I find no fault in him at all." Pilate knew, as we also know, that truth can be a very tricky proposition, especially when wielded by those who have motives which are much less than pure. Truth is sometimes not truth. I'm sure we have all heard those who say that truth is never black and white, but exists in areas of gray, that truth is not absolute. Much has been made of the assumption that today's culture views truth as something which is subjective. Many today seem to believe that what is true for one person may not be true for someone else, or that what is true for each individual is based on biases and experiences, situations and circumstances. Is subjective truth really a thing? Is subjective truth true? Or are we really talking about the difference here between truth and opinion? An opinion could be true for the one who expresses it, but not true for somebody who disagrees. But is this a definition of truth? Opinions or perceptions are often different from truth. It should be obvious to us that an opinion or perception can be true, but it can also be not true. For example, we could use an illustration I've employed many times in Bible classes. Let's suppose I hold up a blue ball, and I ask everyone what color it is. Some folks may have a type of color blindness which makes them see the ball as something other than blue. For them, their truth is the color they see, regardless of the fact that the ball is actually, truthfully, physically blue. Does their perception of the color of the ball change the actual color of the ball? Of course not. The ball is still blue, no matter what color they perceive it as. Now, if we were to manipulate the truth as in today's culture, an argument would be made that the ball is actually whatever color a person perceives it to be. But perception doesn't change truth. Perception can't change truth. I may hold an opinion, you may hold a different opinion. I may have a perception, and you may have a different perception. Does that change truth? Is truth subjective? Well, in the case of the blue ball, no. And I would argue that truth is not subjective under any circumstances. Saying that truth is never subjective is likely to cause argument and heartburn because the concept of subjective truth has become quite popular today. Why? The me culture of today lends itself perfectly to the idea of subjective truth. Just say, well, it's true for me, whatever it might be, and no one can legitimately argue with you. But again, is that real truth? Now, I'm not an expert on truth, so I guess what we need is a definition of truth. We need the truth about truth. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary says that truth is the body of real things, events, and facts. Actuality, the state of being the case. Fact, often capitalized. A transcendent, fundamental, or spiritual reality. A judgment, proposition, or idea that is true or accepted as true, the body of true statements and propositions, the property as of a statement of being in accord with fact or reality, fidelity to an original or to a standard, sincerity in action, character, and utterance. It's interesting to note a few of the words used in this definition: actuality, fact, reality. Truth, according to this definition, is certainly not subjective at all, but is in accord with fact or reality. If this is a legitimate definition of truth, as most people would agree, then truth is always connected to objective facts or realities. Truth is that which is real. According to the proper definition of truth, there is no such thing as true for me or true for you. Something is either true or it is not true. Opinion is just opinion, and perception is just perception. Truth is not and cannot be subjective or exist in some sort of gray area. Truth is objective. Unfortunately, truth has frequently become the victim in today's culture. A perfect example of that is found in the political climate surrounding the 2020 election. It doesn't take anyone long to realize that truth is not based on reality or objective facts regarding many of the claims made in the political arena. Many people are easily led to believe whatever is said loud enough and long enough. This is sometimes called the phenomenon of cognitive ease. Whatever is said often enough, with great conviction, is more easily believed, even if it's not true. The more often we hear truth uttered by those who forcefully proclaim it, the more likely we are to believe it, even if it's not true. Amazingly, there are those who actually think that just because a great many people say something, then it must be true. If a culture as a whole accepts these twisted ideas about truth, that society is no longer operating on a rational level. This is very dangerous for the continued existence of any culture. We have all recently witnessed an incident which should drive home the dangers inherent in a culture which doesn't understand or value objective truth. Without getting into the political aspects of the assault on the Capitol building, we see a perfect example of the manipulation of truth. One person, one powerful person, with the appropriate pulpit, can influence thousands to perform his bidding, and it doesn't matter that the truth he declares has no real basis in fact. Here again, cognitive ease is abused, and those who want to believe a certain truth do so, sometimes with deadly results. When truth is what everyone wants it to be, society will continue to descend into an abyss of self-interest, greed, and catastrophe. Can anyone expect our nation to survive when the truth is destroyed for the benefit of those with their own interests at heart? Well, what can we do? Can we still find real truth? Most scientists maintain that real truth can't be ascertained unless proven through experimentation or the accumulation of valid evidence. In other words, truth can only be determined based upon facts. Yes, just like the definition we read earlier, actual, real facts. You'll notice I said most scientists, and in reality this is only maintained up to a certain point by the scientific community, and that point is the theory of evolution. Scientists have no actual facts which point to the truth of evolution. Evolution is one of those subjects which has become widely accepted due to the abuse of cognitive ease. Scientists have spent many years saying loudly and often that evolution is true, with no facts to back it up. Again, what is repeated often enough by those we trust is frequently believed to be true, even if it is not true, even if it is not based on facts. Since belief in evolution has legitimized the concept of truth without evidence, it should not be surprising when we see large groups of people enthusiastically embracing beliefs which are not supported by any evidence whatsoever. We should not be surprised when even the most extreme points of view become popular. Evidence frequently is deemed unnecessary in order to ascertain what is true. Subjective truth has become the norm, in part because it is so easy to accept. We should also understand that some things are often believed because one has a vested interest in doing so. It's hard to convince people that something is not true if they really want to believe that it is true. Let's remember, though, that truth without facts or pertinent information is not really truth. Over the last several years, we have seen truth diminish in importance. As social media outlets increase in popularity, the importance of truth lessens. Social media posts do not have to contain truth. Most people can post whatever they wish as long as it remains within the rather loose boundaries of what is considered acceptable by those who maintain those sites. Rumors become truth. People with an axe to grind come up with the most outlandish postulations, then post them online so that others of like thinking can spread them around. It is to be hoped that our culture will at some point grow weary of the constant assault on the truth, at the fake news and outright falsehoods put forth by those with their own disturbing agendas. This hope assumes that there are still enough intelligent, reasoning people in the world, that there are still those who desire to know the truth about things. So if we want to get to the truth, how do we ascertain or determine the truth about anything? Opinion won't do it. Opinion is not truth. Perception is not trustworthy. Truth can't be determined just because of our opinions, nor can it be ascertained through blind affirmation. Just saying something is true does not make it true. Believing firmly that something is true does not make it true. Being a part of a large number of people who believe something to be true does not make it true. Truth is something which is outside ourselves. Objective truth, based on real, actual facts, is completely independent of opinion, perception, belief, and popularity. It should be shocking to everyone when people believe something that is not true. Why? It is exceedingly sad to think of someone living their life based on a lie, yet many do so willingly. The consequences of believing that which is untrue can be many and varied. Often the results of believing a lie are few and inconsequential, but sometimes the outcome is tragic and devastating, as we have seen most recently. Yes, tragedies of this sort are sad in the extreme, but the most crucial situation is that which involves our spiritual well-being. It is critically important for everyone to understand that finding the truth about Christianity is vital. If one believes in the God of the Bible, then what we believe in practice is very important. If the Bible is God's Word, then that is where we will find the truth about how to please God, and where we will discover the truth about what we must do. God Himself revealed what He thinks about those who do not respect the truth, and about those who go about determining their own truth. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. Romans 1, verse 18. If the truth of Christianity was dependent on opinion, belief, or popularity, real New Testament Christianity would not exist. The fact is, Christianity was founded upon and continues to be based upon facts, which are bound up in evidence. Next time, we will look at evidence and its relationship to truth and the Christian faith. God bless you, and thanks for watching Walking the Old Path.